Super Bowl 53 is right around the corner, and here come the questions ahead of Rams and Patriots. Mike Garofolo brought his notebooks. Let's take him to school. This is Journalism 101. First question, two awesome teams squaring off, of course, in Atlanta. Where does the greatest weakness among either Super Bowl team lie?
I would say, God, I hate saying weaknesses. These teams are so good.
Yeah,
I would say that the Rams' penchant to play a little bit more zone defense might hurt them a little bit here, because you got to man up the Patriots if you want to do something against Tom Brady. It frees you up. Maybe you can bring an extra blitzer or whatever. But if you just sit there and zone the whole game, my man's going to pick you apart. Matter of fact, Jamal Adams, friend of the show from the New York Jets, was tweeting the other day about the Chiefs just sitting there playing zone. So you can't do that against Brady. You've got to mix it up. You've got to play man. So I'm not saying these guys can't play man. I'm just saying they're going to maybe have to lean a little bit more on that, which is not usually what they do.
It's tough because they've been played so well defensively, right? They've been great. It's better than you even would expect. But if there's a weakness, that brings me to my point. I worry that one of their greatest weaknesses could be one of their greatest strengths. I want to know what we're getting from Todd Gurley. And they talked about earlier in the show, physically, he hasn't had much work over the last couple months even. He's been really, really light. But this is still a very, very odd image to me. Very odd. And if Todd Gurley comes out in this game, let's just say hypothetical. Let's say on the first series of the game. I mean, look at him. Look, he's on the first tee, a 70-year-old man stretching out before the game. If he comes out in that first series and drops a pass or misses a protection, does he have a short hook? Does McVay pull him? Because I'll tell you this, there's some scar tissue, so to speak, with Todd Gurley. When he was at Georgia, his last year there, he gets hurt 6 games in. He's out. He's a superstar. Nick Chubb comes in and is incredible. I mean, an incredible player doing his job, and it was almost like, wow, is he better than Gurley? Now he's in a Super Bowl. Who's on the other side of the ball? Another Georgia running back. If he's not himself, if he's insecure, if he's in his head, we'll know early, but that could be an undoing.
All right, so when I was playing for the Seahawks, we would have these kind of what would you do situations, and I still remember this one to today because it had everybody in tears.
Love these.
So we were trying to create the weaknesses for superpowers, right? And they're pretty dumb, but we're football players.
Go on.
It's if you're the fastest man in the world, you can't read. And if you're invisible, when you are visible, whatever you think is the nastiest looking creature in the world, that's what you're going to look like.
There's some good
and if you have a booming voice, when you're not using your booming voice, you're mute. Tom Brady's a superhero. So I was trying to figure out what is his weakness. All night I'm like, I can't really figure it out. But he does have a weakness.
What is it?
Tom Brady can't run, and he's never been a threat to run. That is his weakness. That is his kryptonite. So for me, if there's one weakness, it's Tom Brady out of the pocket. We say all the time, you're going to be Tom Brady, flush him out of the pocket. It's easier said than done. Tom Brady has just over 1,000 yards, 1,003. And I will say this is a completely different situation and conversation. Tom Brady's going to finish under 1,000 yards in his career because he's going to take some sacks, and that number's going to go backwards. He has one career rushing TD over 10 yards. So for me, it's trying to get him outside the pocket. It's not necessarily about sacking him because they've been keeping him clean all year. But you have to send pressure up the gut. You got to get him outside that pocket and flush him outside the pocket. Make him run the ball. Because he runs like Forrest Gump when he has the braces on.
Yeah, so, with the magic shoes.
Yeah, if we get him to run like a young Forrest Gump, you'll have a chance of beating Tom Brady.
I'm going to ask you guys this question, and I don't know if the game that Goff had against the Saints in the Superdome, especially in the second half, changes this. But is a weakness for the Rams, the glaring one that's sort of obvious going into this one, the inexperience of this team, of the coach, of the quarterback?
Sure, it could be.
Like, or do you guys? Why is that not the first thing out of your mouth?
Because last year,
because of what Goff did and how much you guys love him today?
He won in the Superdome, you know. I mean, that's going to be a more difficult place to play than here in Atlanta against the Patriots teams. I don't know how many Patriots fans are traveling to this game. I have no idea. But he won in the Superdome, and that's the mic drop for me. You know what I mean?
They were on tilt in that game, and they recovered some way somehow when they should have completely folded. That's one. For me, the other thing is the Eagles were the inexperienced team last year, and they went into that game and they played like they played like they were playing with house money.
Well said.
I think you kind of have that in the back of your head. At least I do.
I agree 100%.
Very true. Who should you root for? Moving on here in Journalism 101. We have a little bonus question there, but let's go with who should you root for in Super Bowl 53 if you are a neutral fan?
Okay.
Oh, we're all neutral, right?
I don't know if there's any sort of
neutrality.
Neutral fans in the NFL, Nate.
If you're a neutral fan, I would say root for the Rams.
Okay.
Root for the new group of young men that haven't tasted what it feels to hold up that Lombardi and be world champions. And for the younger generation of fans that are seeing their teams in rebuilding modes or seeing their teams come up out the gutter like the Browns or teams that have signed new players, you want this to be your squad. It's all about the draft and free agency. And what have the Rams done over the last couple of years? They hit the draft and they hit free agency. And if you're a new squad, you're voting for the Rams, you're rooting for the Rams, you hope that the Rams are the team that gets to the victory.
Well, you root for the Rams, too. It's anti-Patriots. Let's face it, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of anybody but the Patriots. It doesn't matter, so that wins, too. Mike, who would you root for?
I am rooting for, if I am neutral, which I am neutral, and I would suggest this to those folks, you got to root for the underdog, right? So is it the inexperienced Rams? No, they're not the underdog. Is it the Patriots? No, that storyline is over as well. So wait a second. Am I rooting for the light jerseys or am I rooting for the dark jerseys?
I don't know.
I'm rooting for the guys wearing both. That would be the officials. In the stripes.
All right.
You caught a lot of flack this last weekend because of that call in the Saints game that should have been made and some other calls. You have no idea, unless you've stood on the sideline or, in this guy's case, played in a game, how fast those things move down there. I was on the sideline for a playoff game between the Falcons and the Seahawks a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Paul Richardson makes a diving catch right in front of me, right where you are, and I had no earthly idea whether that ball hit the ground or not. So these guys, despite the criticism that they've received recently, are among the best in the world, if not the best in the world at what they do. I want a controversy-free. I'm talking to you, Terrence Miles, back judge, Eugene Hall, Steve Zimmer, Jeff Bergman, Edgar Hey, Fred Bryan, umpire, you stay out of it. I don't want any traffic.
He gave a careful point.
John Perry, you keep this thing on track.
Hey.
Here we go, Ref.
Okay.
We could really use a clean game. I mean, we need. I'm not saying we need a clean game. Let's
do it.
Come on, baby.
Like those commercials, the Tide commercials.
Yeah, whatever. The pods, all that. Don't eat them, but use them. If you want to be neutral in this game, you want to root for somebody, I'm rooting for Tony Romo. Tony Romo's on the call. Here's the thing. Year one under the Romo thing, he's doing the Nostradamus, and he said, I see it's going to be a corner fade here to Julio, and it would be a corner fade. That was pretty cool. That's one thing. Doing the, look at Tom, he's killing the play. They're going to put Gronk in motion and run to the right. Like, now it's 6 layers deep with his predictions, and it's really entertaining. It does beg the question, if Tony Romo knows so well what the Patriots are doing, how the hell did the Chiefs not know what the hell he was doing? They just got somebody fired because they didn't know. I also think there's something about Romo as a football fan. This goes back 15 years. Romo never got to the big one. He never won the big one, let alone even raise the Lombardi, but he was always a cool, likable guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like in a way Romo could win the Super Bowl if he has an incredible – if Brady's got the ball with 3 minutes left going down the field and Romo's on the call, that could be Romo's best answer to a Super Bowl winning drive.
Osmosis?
And I'm rooting for – absolutely osmosis, yes.
I like that.
I'm rooting for Gladys Knight, too. I like her.
She's going to kill it. She's the winner.
I know it.
I think if you're a neutral fan, there's definitely Patriots fatigue, obviously, around the league. I think a lot of Saints fans are going to go and support the Patriots against the Rams, and I hate that about Saints fans right now because people are hating that they're not a good team. The Rams are trash. The Rams had an incredible game, and they beat you, and you can talk about the no call, but I hate that it's Saints fans against Rams fans. The Rams fans did nothing wrong in this game, so I want to see a little bit less of that. I hate that narrative that I'm seeing all over Twitter right now. Finally, one of the best parts about Super Bowl week is NFL Honors. It airs February 2nd, the night before. It's on CBS at 9 p.m. My favorite event of the NFL calendar. So what award are you guys most looking forward to, Mike?
Oh, hit me with the play of the year, Kay. I love seeing the montages. I love seeing the nominees. I love being reminded of just how much, Kyle, you talked about the grind. We've been on it since August. The reason why we do it is because of these plays, these moments. I'm talking about Derrick Henry, the angriest of runs. He won for that, right? Award-winning run.
99 yards.
99 yards. Let's just enjoy it. I mean, this is part of the NFL Honors. You are celebrating everything these guys have done, everything that they have put on the line. Look at this. My man could have quit at any point, any 99 of these yards, and he is just putting it in there. Now, the other end of this is the fact that the Patriots are in the Super Bowl here, and they came back from one of those devastating moments that I just talked about a couple of minutes ago that I thought really could have sunk their season. That would be the Miami Miracle. And you watch this play, and you're like, come on, no. Every time you watch it, now somebody's going to get him. Somebody's going to, wait. Gronk's back there. Gronk's got him, right? He's got an angle. He can move pretty well. Normally, when he's running a route, not so much there. This play was
That's supposed to be the end of the Empire, Mike.
Yeah,
Here they are again.
But it's a great reminder of all these moments and these peaks and valleys that you've lived through this entire season. Can't wait to see what wins Play of the Year.
Me too.
You can vote, by the way, on NFL.com.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Get out there.
Love it.
Okay, we need to have an off-season segment about our favorite NFL events of the year, because we all say that about a lot of things.
Okay.
We love honors. We love the jacket ceremony. We love a lot of them, right?
That's very emotional.
Crazy. We all try the draft.
Cry, yeah.
Yes. But the honors is incredible. I've been given the huge privilege the last couple of years by the network to be backstage at honors, and when the people win the awards, they come right off and I get to talk to them. I always find it fascinating to talk to Coach of the Year. In the 2 years that I've done it, it's McVay and then it's Jason Garrett before that.
Oh.
And it's a little odd because they were just given a trophy, yet they're so annoyed that they're not playing the next day. You know, they're conflicting emotions. The first thing they always say is, well, I wish we were playing tomorrow, but it's still a huge honor. And I think this year, this is a loaded category. It's a great Coach of the Year because take your pick. Obviously, what Nagy did with the Bears, I always try to benefit the first-year guys. Nagy goes from first to last. Frank Reich, I think, could win it. They didn't lose a game for 3 months, second round of the playoffs. And then I would throw Pete Carroll's name in, what he did with the Seahawks.
So
Andy Reid, Coach Lynn with the Chargers was fantastic. Yeah. I don't know who's going to win it this year. I think if I had a handicap, it's between Nagy and Reich, but one of those guys could steal it too, and I cannot wait to see how they receive it.
Lynn, I would love to see Lynn win it.
No doubt.
You're right. Loaded category. I don't know. There's not really a front runner there.
Bill O'Brien and the Texans had
Bill O'Brien had a hell of a year, and it's a regular season award.
Yeah. All right, so I used to go on these boys trips, right? Me and my friends, and we would, hang out like guys would do. And one night, one of my best friends, let's just say he had too much Gatorade.
Okay, sure, yeah.
So before we can even get the night started, he's in the alleyway. He's relieving himself of everything.
Yeah.
Right, it was definitely
for a minute.
So we were like, look, patted him on the back. Hey, you got to go back to the hotel, man. This is your night. It's all good. We'll hold it down for you. We're going to celebrate. We'll meet you in the morning. So
Randy Moss can't hold his liquor?
No, it wasn't Randy Moss. So we jump a couple clubs, and then we head back to the hotel where there's a hotel lounge. We go to the lounge, and guess who walks in? My boy. And he showered, recovered, and we were going,
really?
Yeah, he's back! Rally! Rally! And he was comeback player of the trip. Yes! And that's always been a thing for us, right? If you go down, if you can make it back, you will win comeback player of the trip, among other awards every time we go out. So for me, it's comeback player of the year. Like, that's my favorite award because there were guys that were down and out. Their career were in the alley, and they were giving up everything they had in them. And we were looking at Andrew Luck, J.J. Watt, Deshaun Watson, Adrian Peterson. Is it over for these guys? Is it over? Nope. They showed up this year at the bar like, I'm back! I'm back, and we love it. So, and it runs deep with me because I've had some season-ending injuries. I've seen guys retire because of injuries, and we know that the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. It's inevitable. This isn't NBA. This isn't baseball where the return rate is high and the production is high after guys return. It's the NFL. Sometimes injuries can ruin your entire career and to be the last time you play.
Yeah.
I think Andrew Luck is at the top of that list because I'm going to be honest, I counted him out. I didn't think he'd make it back. He didn't just make it back. He was the runner-up for the MVP.
Incredible season. Really well said, and love your analogy, but I would also bring up Walter Payton Man of the Year because we talk about these guys, the best on their teams nominated by their squads, their brothers, and there's 32 nominees. One will win that prestigious honor. That patch, the ripple effect of the greatness in the community in these guys' hometowns, the cities where they play, it all sort of comes together on stage that night, and everybody's just as happy for each other. And then Hall of Fame as well will go down. It's an amazing night. Catch it the night before the Super Bowl at 9 p.m. Eastern on CBS. It's NFL Honors hosted by
Steve Harvey.
That's right.
Steve Harvey.
Super Bowl is a revenge game of sorts, guys. For Brandon Cooks.